Chat, 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 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hello and welcome to the Road to Wrestling School. We are the only wrestling podcast that focuses exclusively on professional wrestling training while driving to wrestling school. We are the HOV to the EPW? Elite Pro Wrestling. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are not headed to the House of Pain this evening. We are headed to Elite Pro Wrestling, where we have been invited to a special training session by Wildman Robbie Page. I'm Grizzly Joe Grasso.
And I'm hashtag Hamish Stewart. Actually, are you Grizzly Joe Grasso?
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, I guess I still am on the podcast.
I mean, why not?
It's still me.
It made you just say, "Oh yeah, I guess
and Grizzly
you are."
Joe Grasso still has a ring. That's my announcer persona. You see?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good.
See,
That's good.
no,
I like that.
You're thinking of the Grizzly. You get me confused with the Grizzly Duncan McBain. That's it.
You guys are both. You look very similar to one another.
I hear that. I get that a lot.
It's shocking how you look alike.
I agree. But we are two very different people. I am a broadcaster by profession and a professional wrestler.
And he is simply a professional wrestler.
Well, yes, of course.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There you go.
Oh, good. Well, I cut you off in the middle of your
Oh, yeah,
intro.
I'm still doing a thing.
Yeah.
We are on our way to wrestling school, and you get to listen in on the conversation. Hamish, how you doing this week, buddy?
I'm doing good. Our class kicked off, our workshop.
Yes, it did.
And I forgot how very, very stiff our ring is.
Oh, yes.
The bumps weren't so bad while I was doing them, but a day later and the next day I really noticed it during my workout, Joe.
Yes.
And during the workout, I found that I didn't have the repping power that I did before when I was nice and fresh. So it was quite an eye opener, and I need to take care of myself and not bump so much for these students. I should be bumping them.
Yeah, bump the hell out of them.
Yeah, but I want them to come back. That's the problem.
That's probably wise.
I always worry because you see the look on their face when they do the first bump, and you're like, so it's not going to get any better?
I'm afraid not, pal.
Yeah, it might get better if you do it properly, 1,000 times. You might just get accustomed to doing it, almost
sure.
like a boxer gets accustomed to getting punched in the face.
Yeah,
and they kind of are like, okay, well, I get punched in the face a lot, so it's not that bad. You kind of get used to being in a car wreck, every week, and it's all right. But so I don't really want to bump them mercilessly.
To hell with them. They paid for it.
Well, you're right.
They came to get bumped. They didn't come to not get bumped.
They did come to get bumped, but I don't think they came to get bumped like that on that ring.
Well, here's the thing, brother. There are no refunds, and they've paid their money.
Well, that's correct.
So we're going to bump them mercilessly.
That is correct. If we had better padding, I would feel less bad.
Never!
I'd feel bad.
We'll never get more padding. Padding is very expensive for that ring.
Busting out that Scottish accent. Look at you.
I don't have a Scottish accent. That's Grizzly Duncan McBain.
Oh, my gosh. I forgot about that.
Though I do have an excellent Scottish accent.
It's pretty good. It's
pretty good.
It's pretty
you know
good.
what my phrase is for getting into my Scottish accent?
What's that?
Because you got to have a phrase.
God.
It's a poem, actually. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe, which we all know is from the Jabberwocky by
correct.
Lewis Carroll.
Yeah.
For some reason, that always comes through in my mind as a Scottish sounding words, those nonsense words.
Like a brogue.
Yeah, it's kind of a brogue to it, and it helps me get into my Scottish accent.
Oh, that's good. Mine is I just don't give an F. And then
No, you do not.
Hopefully it holds halfway through until people
Every
go.
greenhorn at the Renaissance Festival continues to make fun of you for your lack of accent, like they deserve to do that.
Right, and they're really, and none of them will listen to this, but I'm getting this off my chest right now. Who are you to bust my chops about my bad accent?
How dare you?
Yeah, seriously. And I mean this honestly. So if you listen to, I watch a lot of BBC. I also watch a lot of foreign film at home, and it's not like their accent is like no, you don't have to be. There's stuff where they are much more subtle and much more not as overtoned or painted on like a goddamn paintbrush on the side of a barn. And who are you? And by the way, your English accent sucks.
True.
I listen to English, like BBC News. You don't sound like any of those people.
No, not at all. There's a great YouTube video about accents where the guy it's only maybe 45 seconds to a minute, but it's this guy goes on a map, and the map shifts around, and as he's going around the map, his accent is shifting to where it is, and it's really interesting.
Does it start in Westeros and end in Middle Earth?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, well, then I'm not watching
If you're talking about Shire speak, you've got a lot of R's in there.
Oh, there you go.
And really, at the festival, we do Cockney, which is not, it's a bit anachronistic. But it's okay because everyone recognizes Cockney as a lower accent. But really, we should all have that good country accent where it has a lot of R's in it.
Yeah, there should be.
But that's a much harder accent to maintain.
Regardless of that, let's talk about wrestling. How's your week been?
Oh, wrestling. Well, I didn't do much wrestling this week, if that's what you're referring to.
Well, I mean, we did wrestle at the workshop.
Oh, God, I guess I did. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
I was fighting off bronchitis, which I guess I still am. It's mostly gone.
Yeah, my wife had a real bad touch of that. It was horrible. We almost had to go to the hospital for that.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was really bad. Really,
Get it together,
really bad.
you guys.
Yeah, I felt horrible for her. She was in a bad way.
Yeesh.
But she's come through.
Good.
For her. So what do you want to talk about this week, Joe?
This week, I'm going to talk about... I'm not quite sure yet. I thought if I said that, something would pop out of my brain, because that's what they say to do. When you don't know, just go full tilt into it. But I still haven't come up with anything yet. I had a topic. I swear to God I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm classy that way.
All right, so I'll bring out a topic that I'd like to talk about.
It'll come to me later. Go ahead.
Okay, good. And that's in the beginning when you're...
I'm so glad we have this extended, long podcast. We have no topic. Go ahead.
That's right. When you're training and you get into the whole art of heel versus babyface or baby work, the transition. I work exclusively heel. I have worked exclusively heel since we started at HOP. I don't think it's a secret that my shining personality and the way that I always carry myself lends to heel work.
Yes.
Even though I'm probably the best person you'll ever meet in your entire life.
Debatable. Continue.
Thank you. But when I'm not training in the matches, I try to always work baby so that I can get that experience.
Sure.
And it's not subtle. It's a hard transition for me because going from the heel where you control the heat exclusively, going to the baby and then, trying to feed around into where a heel you'd want a heel to be there to give your body up for a move or something is difficult. It's a difficult transition for my brain to make. And I wonder what your thoughts are, because you work almost exclusively face.
I do, and I have been, and I'm switching into heel. Well, when we first came in, I started working heel because I thought I'd go down the route of heel because we were going to tag as our Scottish guys, and I'm like, okay, these guys are probably going to be heel. Let's go down this road. And it's nice to control the match. It's fun to be that guy who's doing the devious moves and controlling it. It's painful to be a face. It's very painful.
Yeah, face work is hard.
And it's hard to know where to feed. I'm still working on that as a face, feeding to a position where they have the most use out of you so they can continue their heat. And you got to keep fighting back because you don't want to be a face that just gives up and dies. So even though you're not working all that hard, you're actually working very hard to not die while taking all these moves. And then you got as long as you got your comeback strong, that's important too. You got to be able to fire up. So you got to be able to take all that punishment, take it all, and then be able to explode possibly out of nowhere.
Right, and that takes a lot from the heel too. The heel's got to be fresh enough to be able to pop right up and feed back into you too.
Yes,
and you've got to work your comeback. Which for me, I don't even know what I like. I don't even have a finish move. So that's number one.
Well, you got that nice drop kick. Not a finish, but it's a nice move.
No,
nice
that's
signature.
That's a good signature. We worked on that. Big shout out to Tremor for working that with me.
Oh yeah.
And busted that out in a match, which Rambo watched, and it didn't get a.
That was an interesting match. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
That was a heel versus heel match, which it occurs to me I don't see all that much. Which rightfully so. You really want to face with a heel when you have a match, but you guys did an interesting thing. You both tried to cheat at the same time and ended up hurting each other in the process. Like you'd both try to rake the eyes at the same time and you'd both stomp on each other's foot at the same time. And the ref looked befuddled as to who to yell at. It was a great moment. Excellent, funny clowning moment.
All the credit for that goes to Tremor.
He is a ring technician if ever I've seen one.
Yeah. No. If you want to be, if you ever draw the card anywhere of like, okay, tonight you wrestle Tremor, you've just drawn a pass.
Oh my God, yes.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to think.
Very
this
true.
This is fantastic. I just show up and I'll just do what he wants me to do.
Like, there's a few people. Now, neither of us have wrestled R.L. Smith, who, shout out to R.L., is our biggest fan, and we love him for promoting our show.
That's right. If you don't buy all of R.L.'s merch, and if you don't book him on your show, you're dead to us.
You're a damn fool, too.
About you die in a fire.
Now, I haven't been in a match with him, but I imagine he also has good ideas, so I don't want to count him out of this discussion. But Wildman, Robbie Page, and Tremor.
Yeah, Luke and
Luke
Willie,
and Cocky Rocky. These
Willie
people,
Radical.
you get into a match with these guys, they're going to, and you're a little green, they're going to help you, they're going to work, they're going to come up with such ideas that you didn't even consider.
They'll do it in the ring, too.
And they'll do it in the ring. That's a professional.
Don't even, we'll be in the middle of something, and then I'll hear him, I put you over to do this, or put you over here. I'm like, what in the world? Oh, okay, that's what you wanted.
Exactly. Oh, and a brief shout-out to Sidling Hill that we are going through in Western Maryland, which if you've never seen is amazing. This little, divot in the road. Like, we're going through the middle of a mountain here, and you can actually see ice still on the wall.
It's not a divot. They carved out of this mountain.
Oh, yeah, they blew it up. It was dynamite that did this.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, because when they were mining here.
Oh, wow.
Because we're heading to way Western Maryland to train tonight.
Hello, American Spirit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Broke through.
I haven't been through here since I was dating my ex in college.
And by American Spirit, I mean the cigarettes, because they're delicious.
This episode brought to you by American Spirit cigarettes.
That's right. This episode brought to you by
Feel the flavor.
Smooth flavor of American Spirit cigarettes.
Formerly all natural.
That's right.
They can't say that anymore because they're not natural.
Well,
hey, while we're doing plugs, we have a show.
It's
called
Renaissance Rumble.
It is a Shakespeare-themed, professional wrestling-inspired
stunt show
performing at the Maryland Renaissance Festival every weekend. 19 performances, Labor Day Monday, too.
Go check us out on Facebook at www.renaissancerumble.com.
That's not what Facebook is.
Or check us out at Facebook at www.facebook.com.
You don't even need to say that.
/Renaissance Rumble.
You have the worst plugs.
And,
we also have a Twitter, too, at Ren Rumble, but we don't do much there.
Yeah,
you can check it out.
Nothing will
Not
come
a damn
from. You
thing.
can follow us, and you'll get nothing.
Not a goddamn
We don't
thing.
have an Instagram account, but that's
What is
fine.
that? We don't have a Snapchat either.
It's just pictures. Instagram is just pictures.
For God's sake, do that.
I do that when I was doing the workout thing for a long time.
Oh, great.
Just put pictures
Oh,
up.
yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah.
I meant to make fun of you for that, but I never did.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, that's our show. We have nothing else to plug.
Yeah, you should definitely come and see it. It's a great show. Buy a T-shirt. You can get close to the ring, get our wooden championship belt put around your waist.
Yeah.
And take a picture with it.
At the Blackfriars stage at the Maryland Renaissance Festival in beautiful Crownsville, Maryland.
That's right. Now back to the conversation here.
Yes.
But yeah, so Wrestling Tremor in the heel versus heel match. We both came out with heel managers, which was great. I had Grizzly Joe in my corner.
Yeah.
He had Emma.
Oh yeah, we both got to be each other's managers. That was
right,
nice.
Yeah. We both did the feed the other guy into the manager and let the manager strangle a little bit and do all that kind of eye poking, eye gouging stuff. I made a giant mistake during mine, which I grabbed the referee and pulled him over so that he would miss Grizzly Joe grabbing Tremor and choking the life out of him.
Sure.
Which is an automatic DQ, by the way.
Yeah, don't touch the ref. Even if you're a heel, never touch the ref.
I know, but I don't. But what do I do?
Look, I feel like there are times when you can touch the ref, but it's very seldom.
Yeah, I think if you tug on the shirt. No, I literally grabbed around this ref's head and spun
you can't do.
Spun him around.
But you can nudge his shoulder. You can grab his shirt a little. And I think that's okay if you're a heel.
Yeah, but I'm wondering so Joe, you're on the you're my manager. I got Tremor on the ropes.
Yes.
Obviously the ref is looking at me. What do I do? Do I just walk over to the other corner and go, "Hey, look at this corner. It sucks."
Well, you can point to a fan, say, "Look at the fan. Hey, while I'm doing this, why don't you text Robbie and let him know we're going to be a little late?"
Oh, okay.
You should do that.
All
so
right.
something you could do in that instance, the ref's looking right where you don't need him to look. You need him to look the other direction. I mean, I've seen you just point at a fan and say, look what that fan's wearing, that's illegal. I mean, that certainly hurts the ref's cred. If you want to use something a little more, you could go talk to him about how this turnbuckle's falling off the thing. You could talk to him about you got this pain in your finger that, you don't know if you can continue. There's any number of things you can do to get his attention. But I know in the moment it's really hard to remember any of that and get him. That's another moment of being comfortable in the ring. And, if you got a professional ref, they'll usually be able to figure it out, but sometimes they can't. I mean, in the heat of the moment, they're working as hard as you are, so they might not remember the exact spot. So just getting their attention, I think you can grab them a little bit if you're a heel. Or at least make a big motion that they have to follow your gaze. If you make a quick movement over there, they're going to look at you, and they won't look over where they need you to look. Or, I don't know, maybe the manager could throw something, like, outside of the ring, and they'll go look at that.
Yeah, I think, I think you're right. There's a million things I just need to experiment with in pulling the referee's attention away, other than just grabbing the ref, which I just tend to do.
Yes.
I just grab the ref and I go, come over here and look at this, and which is, a giant no-no.
I mean, yeah, that's fine as a goof, but you can't do that.
Right. You can't do that at all.
See, now we're going to start working on some tag team stuff, which is an interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah, because tag you get a little bit more leeway in the ring. So I tag Grizz to come in. The ref gives us a 5 count for me to get out, but that's always a squishy 5 count.
Yes.
And playing around with that 5 count is going to be something that will be neat because when you come in, they'll give you the 5. Hey, get out of here! 1, 2, 3, and then you start a move. A double team move. The ref stops counting.
Right.
At least you hope, because I don't know what else to do if the ref doesn't stop counting.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I give the ref too much credit. Like, he's really going to DQ me. I've never, literally, obviously, never seen a guy in training get DQ'd by the ref.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
And he's counting 1, 2, 3, 4. I swear, here it comes. Let me get to 5. I'm going to DQ you. I actually get kind of worried that I am going to get DQ'd, and then I'm like, well, how do I get out of that? If I get DQ'd, I've ruined the match.
Yeah.
And I can't bury the referee completely.
No.
But I also can't.
To avoid that, yeah.
Yeah, I also can't.
Well, you're still also training right now, so don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know what I do? I just give the referee a DDT. It'd be fine.
Now, we were, Rambo gave us a really nice compliment that we had good instincts as a tag, which I didn't even, looking back at the match, I just thought we did some nice things, but I'm not saying he's a liar. I take the compliment.
Oh, yeah. No,
but I guess I don't know, maybe just those are the things we grew up admiring, is those tag tactics and how much fun they were, of the fake tag and of the distracting the ref, which we could have done more of, but we were starting to go down that road, of playing as a team.
It was also, as one of the first tag matches we'd done in a real training environment,
yes,
we were very cognizant of don't wreck this match and ruin it.
Right.
So it was like we were listening as hard as we could to the vets, letting them kind of direct us where they needed to go. And that was a big shout out to Willie Radical and LA Star there for, them being present and in the moment and able to go.
Yeah, they were a great tag to work.
Hey, it's time for you to tag your buddy, or hey, here comes the heat, in a way that was, for us to hear, which was good.
But they gave such good advice afterward, too. Like, I don't have to stay in that corner. If I'm outside of the ring, if I'm on the apron, not the legal man, I can walk to the other corner, get the ref's attention at any point.
Right.
To pull him over so you can do something cheap.
Yeah. And as the heels, we got to be doing that. We
have the hot tag. I would argue it requires so much more heat to make that hot tag work.
Yes.
Rather than a singles match, where, of course, you still need to build up a lot of heat, but not nearly as much as the tag match.
Right. Yeah, and that hot tag is, and I'm you'll be clearly and very jealous about faces on this.
Yeah.
I have always wanted the hot tag.
Yeah.
Always. And you know who never gets the hot tag? A heel.
Never.
A heel never gets the hot tag, and especially the heel that is the smaller heel, because I get kind of tossed around in the beginning, and then Grizz gets to come in, and he gets to kind of start the heat and kind of rough him up, and then I get to come in and get a little technical, and then he gets to do the heat, and then boom, Grizz gets knocked down, and it's a double down, and the face is down, and Grizz is down, and oh my god, and now he's climbing to the corner, and then boom, here comes the hot tag, and guess who's taking the hot tag? It's me.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I know.
But still, being the heel is so much fun, especially if that crowd is. If you hear them pumped for that hot tag, that means you did your job.
Yeah,
and that's a good feeling.
Right. No, that is. You're exactly right. It's the whole culmination of the match. It's not. God, I wish I could get the hot tag because that's fun to do. It's. We built this to a crescendo. Now it's time to drop the legs out and make it happen.
Exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah, and when it's done properly and you get that nice big release, that big pop on that hot tag, you're right. There's nothing cooler than hearing the audience go, oh, and they get all excited and bam, 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 bam. You know, those 3-4 moves come around. Then the face team gets their double team move on somebody.
Yep.
And then they go to pin you, and who comes flying in but Grizzly Joe Grasso to break up the pin.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oh, God. I thought they had him.
Now, speaking of double moves, we got to consider our double moves. You found a great one.
I did.
That was a combination leg drop and a splash.
Body splash.
Body splash that happened at the same time.
That's right. Stolen from Wildman Robbie Page and Sanjay Dutt.
Oh, yeah, they did do that. That was right. It looked really, really good. They timed it perfectly.
Fantastic.
Now, if we take that, should that be our, you take the high road, I'll take the low?
Or
is that?
I don't know. I think there's something else there for high load.
Like, if you got a good, like, high kick.
Yeah, I can't give a drop kick.
And I do, like, a good, like, leg tackle from behind. Like a shoulder, you know, that
shoulder
tackle from behind thing?
Yeah.
If I do that and you do a high kick, that could look cool.
I could definitely either do a drop kick or...
a drop kick would be even better.
Drop kick or a super kick.
Sure.
Because I'd have to, if I super kicked and you came with the...
Either I did a shoulder tackle or just a really good...
Like a chop block to there.
Either that or a good kick to the back of the leg.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Which would be a real hooligan, grimy, Scottish thing to do. Like, I'm going to kick you in the back of the leg.
Right, yeah, if you kick him in the back of the leg and I kick him in the chin with a super kick, that's certainly a...
Like, if we were in a bar brawl, that's not a bad thing to do to someone if you're kind of an asshole.
No, it's not. Not at all. I think, listeners, you've just heard it right here. The high road low.
I'll call it, Hamish, you take the high road. I'll take the low.
There you go. And then boom, and there it is.
There it is,
And, we got the
stag. And that immediately sets up. Because if we do that, they land in the middle, you hit that rope, I hit that rope, boom. Splash, leg drop right there.
Oh, you think?
Maybe.
You think it comes out of that?
That's our calling card. Like, the whole move is the high road, low road.
Oh,
maybe.
We have a lot of time in the ring, though.
That is a lot of time in the ring.
I think you only get one crack at that.
Yeah, I think it's a one-time thing, but that's something to hang on to.
Yeah, definitely something.
If we get to the point where we're able to do that,
that's right. Yeah, when
do
a heel finish comes out and we're able to get over on the faces.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
Absolutely,
never.
And when we get really good, we'll do it off the top ropes.
Oh, I know, right?
A table.
Oh, it'll be great. Yeah, flaming table. Flaming table filled with thumbtacks.
Whoa, God! Wait! They're not just on there.
It's filled with it. Like almost like
they took the particle board apart. And
it shoved it in there. Yeah.
God damn! Sounds expensive.
It's gonna take a long time to gimmick it, but I can.
We got to do it. Great.
I got a guy who can do it.
You got a guy? Is it Casey?
No.
God help you if it's Casey.
Precision Jim Frank.
Yeah. Well. That table is going to be made of rich mahogany.
Unbreakable, yes. The most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Filled with thumbtacks. But yeah, so the tag tactics I think are really exciting. And that's one of the big reasons we're taking a brief detour and coming out to beautiful further than Hagerstown.
Yes, even deeper in Maryland.
That's right, deeper into Maryland. Because we're going to get a chance to really kind of get into the heart and dig into really deeply some of this tag stuff.
Yeah.
And we got our gimmicks. We're going to try to cut a promo while we're there.
We'll see how that goes.
We'll definitely see how that goes.
Because Hamish is our mouthpiece, and God help him, he can't do a Scottish accent to save his life.
Not to save my life.
That's why for years he's given it up. But it works for him, man. It works.
It's good enough. It's good enough for television. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
It's good enough for television.
And me with the brilliant brogue is the silent one.
That's right. Don't worry. I'll start out. I'll get myself in fine fighting form by going Tilla di Krilla di Sklythe or whatever the hell your poem is.
You suck so much.
Yeah, the poem.
Through the Looking Glass.
There you go. Yeah, I'll do some of that too.
Yeah.
Oh, this is quite a beautiful.
Western Maryland is gorgeous. If it wasn't so far away, I'd live out here.
Oh wow!
I mean, look at that. It's mountainous. There's valleys.
Very beautiful.
Works really well on audio.
Yeah, I know.
Describing this to you people.
Yeah, you guys are really missing out on the real rich natural beauty.
Hey, get used to this. We might be wrestling out here a lot.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's what'll. If this works out, yeah. So folks, who knows in the wrestling biz what works and what doesn't, but God willing, we'll be able to get some bookings out of it.
It would be nice,
Yeah.
Because we've always wanted to work tag. I've always wanted to work tag.
Right.
It'd be really fun to do it.
And then we'd be able to do podcasts every day.
Every day.
Be crazy.
Woo!
So we'd be able to do
Our
that.
wives would love that.
We literally passed by something that was called the Gas and Grub
The gas and grub?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the gas and intestinal discomfort.
Yeah, watch out for that, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, tag tactics. I think will be real high on the list tonight. I think they're gonna look at our gimmicks. We're gonna pull them together. We're showing up just in workout clothes.
I mean, we're decent wrestlers at this point, and we've been training pretty hard. But we always have our acting background. So when push comes to shove, we need to create characters. We can do that in an instant.
Yeah, we do have that in our back pocket.
And thanks to our education and our experience at the Renaissance Festival, improv is nothing for us.
Right. It does help out. I'll be clear. We've never really been battle tested in a ring, improvising in front of a live audience. But
well, you haven't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Grizzly Joe, you have been as
I wrestled, buddy.
The Paisan of Pain.
Giuseppe, the Paisan of Pain. I miss him terribly.
That's right. Look him up on YouTube.
He does exist.
Really?
Well, maybe not on. Maybe I haven't looked him up on YouTube.
Oh, maybe you should.
There are definitely pictures.
But yeah, I think that's a part where people will look at us and go, "Oh, well, hey, that's not too bad on that show. They did all right."
Yeah.
I don't. That's a point where I'm not really worried about. I really am nervous about.
I just want to hit that point because I've gotten there at the Renaissance Festival for like the human chess game. Just want to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
I want to hit that point in my training and where you're just going out there. You're not worried about it. You're there to have a good time. Like, remember how fun wrestling used to be? Not to say that training has ruined how much fun it is, but we're more serious now.
Right.
But you remember when you were a kid and you just like goofed off? Like, that's what we need to get to. Not to take it unprofessionally or goof off, but to go out and play.
Yeah, I think you hit a big point there, Grizz, is that like the audience has fun when you have fun.
Yes.
And,
I mean, that's a point we always come back to, and we should.
Right, and it's clear that when we're in the ring thinking and not, in there like, okay, let's just go out there and do it.
Just go do it.
If we screw up, we screw up. No big deal.
Exactly. You can fail. It won't kill you, hopefully.
Right, yeah, well, yeah.
It's wrestling after all. But it shouldn't.
Right, yeah, it shouldn't kill you. But the idea of this could suck, but it probably won't. And even if it does suck, it won't suck that bad. Let's go out and have fun.
That's all I want, man. Especially these Scottish characters, the grimy Scots.
Yeah,
they're a blast. They're going to be a blast. You know what?
And that's what I think. And so look, I'm looking way down the road on this.
Okay.
And by way down the road, I mean probably.
Oh, you're looking at the Rocky Gap Casino Resort.
That's right. Yeah. No, I mean the inconceivable. This will never happen.
Oh, okay.
But I actually think the Grimy Scots, if they had a face turn, would be really fun characters.
Oh, yeah. Like we always said, if they were faces, they'd start in the audience every time.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We'd
come
be
out in the
drinking
audience.
something.
Right, yeah, come out with a giant, thing of beer or whatever, having fun, messing around with the crowd, doing what we love, dancing, picking up, people dancing around with them.
Absolutely. That's a blast. See, now here's the other thing. I think you can bring your megaphone back into it.
I think so, too.
Robbie doesn't think it fits, which it kind of doesn't. But you know what? It's fun.
Yeah, I think the megaphone, at one point it's coming back.
I think you can bring it back.
It's going to come out.
If you're the mouthpiece, you want everyone to hear you. And that's so irritating
that
you came out with a megaphone. I don't think he realizes that it is a brass megaphone.
Oh, it's the most irritating
It's not a powered
thing.
megaphone. It's an old school, like
a ship's pirate, megaphone that a captain would have on a ship. Given to me by Tim Shaw.
Ooh.
Yes, I have to tell you right now.
The elusive Tim Shaw.
The elusive Tim Shaw.
Who I'm sure listens to this podcast.
He's probably a listener too.
A veteran of many a Renaissance festival.
Or
at least the Maryland one that I know.
Probably, one of the smartest guys in terms of putting together enjoyable Shakespeare. You see a lot of Shakespeare out there that is just the pits, the worst. And people, actors get in there and they think, just because I'm saying these lines, the audience is going to believe it. No, they're not. You got to live those lines. You got to live it. That's
true.
Just like you do in wrestling. You got to live that character and you got to do it.
Yeah, he directed Romeo and Juliet my first season at the festival, and it was brilliant.
He owned a company called Upstart Crow, and it was fantastic. They put on very cutting edge, very good Shakespeare that was, took people that I've seen act a zillion times and make them 1,000 times better just by the way that they were.
That's pretty cool.
They put it together, and the take on what they would do with the Shakespeare show, they didn't take them wildly out of context like some directors are wont to do, like, oh, and here's where Macbeth goes on the moon, or like, oh, come on, you're killing me. You're just same crappy.
Right, it has to be supported somewhere in the text.
Yeah.
Now let's tie this back to wrestling.
Right.
We have Renaissance Rumble. That's a Shakespeare-themed show. I've often thought there has to be a show, and it might be Romeo and Juliet. There's a show that can be done entirely as if they are professional wrestlers. I don't know which one. Maybe that's a stupid idea.
No, it's not a bad idea.
But there's one show, and I feel like Romeo and Juliet hits it. Maybe Macbeth. Maybe something else. Maybe a comedy. Maybe look, we've taken scenes from Shakespeare and we've made them wrestling inspired, of course.
Yeah.
But I wonder, is there a whole show you can do where it's like, okay, it all takes place in a wrestling ring as if it were a wrestling show?
Or not so much in a wrestling ring.
Okay.
I mean, what I would say is, this is how I would stage it, is I would put the wrestling ring there, but I would make it clear, like the entrance area for where you come into the, where you enter, or the wrestlers would enter in, there'd be a curtain, but a way to see behind it. So there would be a backstage area.
Okay.
So then, the action goes on, you'd have two wrestlers go, whatever, how you set the scene, the first scene of Romeo and Juliet where the servants get into it.
Yes.
Obviously they get into that in the ring and boom, 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 and that starts out that way. And then, you have the prince come out and, hey, stop all this crappiness, and then sends all the people backstage, almost like the prince is Vince McMahon, and he's like, and barking all the orders.
I still wish we had time in our show, because we do that at the end of the show, is we do the opening scene from Romeo and Juliet. Spoiler alert. I still want that finish to be the prince who comes out and clears the ring. I think that would work so well.
Yeah. We just don't have a prince, and if we added a prince, we'd be cutting the profits.
Well, I think we could use
6 instead of 5.
I feel like we could use our stage manager for that. I think, because he's a big enough guy to do it.
He's a big dude. That's right.
And you don't have to do the full line, but see, the problem with the prince's line is it doesn't cap off a scene.
Right.
It continues the action of the play. That's my real issue with not doing it. That's the only reason I'm not gung-ho about it.
Yeah, I think David would do a good job with it.
Sure.
But you're right. It messes with the flow of it.
It does.
Messes with the flow.
Makes me sad.
It makes me sad,
because
too.
the way we end it works totally fine.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to love it.
Yeah.
But,
I think it works out great.
I
think it's because I win, but...
Probably.
Spoiler alert.
I got to look over the prince's line again. Maybe I'm going to revisit this.
We're definitely going to revisit the wrestling. Since
Since
we've updated our skills, I think we're going to be able to take that into account.
I agree.
But yeah, I think I definitely think there is a Shakespeare show that you could adapt.
Sure.
And make it a wrestling thing. There's got to be some, Macbeth wouldn't be bad, I don't think. You said that early.
That could be fun, the championship.
Julius Caesar wouldn't be bad, I don't think.
Julius Caesar wouldn't be bad.
I don't think so.
It's an idea. You couldn't do a bunch of plays this way. I'd love to, but
right.
Maybe you move away from Shakespeare. There's other, like any of the cape and sword plays of that 16th, 17th century is all about action and intrigue, and you could easily incorporate wrestling into that.
Right.
I don't want it to get old. That's why we do scenes as opposed to full shows.
Yeah.
Because then it's like little snippets.
But you definitely use, what I would do is, and this I think that this is how I keep it fresh, is that's why I would set it in almost like an arena where the ring is in there, and then you get to see the backstage, and then there'd be those scenes that are at night would be like, okay, they're not wrestling now. It's all the fans have gone home, and it's only the light on the ring, and there's like a janitor sweeping up around it, and then the two characters sitting on the apron talking or whatever. That would be
that could be nice.
Yeah, there's different things you could play with.
Now, what I want us to do in the realistic near future is to take what we have, our 30-minute, our 25-minute show at the festival.
Tight 25-minute show.
It's something 25 minutes. Tight is not necessarily the word I would use.
I would use tight 25 because I book it.
It's more of a sloppy 29 and a half.
It's not a sloppy 29 and a half. For anyone that listens who wants the show at your venue, it clocks in at 25 minutes when everybody's properly motivated by #Hamish Stewart backstage.
God help him.
Which means
he's not incorrect.
Act like a total maniac and get them to run their lines as fast as possible.
And remember, put on your pads before your boots.
That's right, pads before boots, everybody. Pads.
We often forgot this and had to request our colleague,
Shakespeare,
our Shakespeare, John Dixon, to remind us every day, put on your pads before your boots, because inevitably we would fuck that up.
Yeah. There'd be somebody backstage and just slamming your boots on, and you start lacing them up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I gotta put this pad on. You gotta unlace it,
But in the realistic future, I want to take this show and expand it to about an hour. Add a few more scenes, maybe a couple more actors, and do a real stage show version of this. So we could take it to, like, Theater Project. We could take it to Fringe. We could take it to these places. Because it's a really good stage show, and it's a neat concept.
No, I really like it. I mean, like,
it's a really good show.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we wrote it. We love it. It's our baby, but...
Right, yeah. Oh, God, the road's just turning into... Oh, God, it went from highway into, crossroads.
Yeah, that's what happens out here in Western Maryland.
Oh, my God, I just almost hit this truck.
My ears keep popping because we're in the goddamn
I know,
mountains.
right? We keep going up and down in these valleys, man. But no,
but I think we could do that, and we just got to get motivated to do it.
Well, yeah, tough, and it's like who do we cast, and then all that, who do we bring in, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, now how do we split profits 18 ways instead of 5, and who's transporting the ring,
like who's paying to see this? Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's more of at that point, it's more of a labor of love.
Well, this is a beautiful town here.
Oh yeah, this is a great town. It's Cumberland.
Oh, look at that!
Yep.
This is really nice.
No, Cumberland's gorgeous and really good food too. I used to come here all the time in college.
Oh, okay.
The girl I was dating lived out here.
You've mentioned that twice now.
Because you didn't let me mention it the first time. You kind of just skimmed over it.
Well, because she's
never going to listen to this.
Well, your wife might.
She knows about her.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
It's not like I've never dated anyone before you. Like, no one thinks that.
You were not, a vestigial virgin.
Now, I got to tell you, there's 2 places to eat if you're in Cumberland. Curtis's Coney Island hot dogs, which is amazing. They have great hot dogs, and the Creamery. I think it's called the Creamery. It might be another name. But they have frozen custard.
You don't want to go to this lab core where these methadone people are standing outside looking for their next hit.
Well, I mean, it is Western Maryland after all.
I know, right?
No offense to people from Western Maryland, except some offense.
Totally get jacked out here. By the way, it did run through our minds very slightly. This might be an extremely elaborate rib that would be probably the most fantastic rib ever played on us.
Yes, this is all a big ruse, and Wildman Robbie Page has conned us out here to go to an empty lot where no one will be.
If he has, bravo,
yes,
because
he's gone the full 9.
Yeah, really, this has been this has really been, he's put a lot of work into this rib, if this is. And if it is a rib, I can only be mad for a very small amount of time because it is.
Then we will go to Curtis's to get some Coney Island hot dogs.
Because I'll tell you, this is my my rule for ribs.
Yes.
If it's funny, you gotta let it go. If it's funny, great, you got it. You got me. Funny rib. If it's not hurtful and if it doesn't like mess up anything, or you're not losing money, or you're not, obviously we'd be losing time. But he wouldn't do that.
No.
God, what a funny rib that would be.
Be very funny.
Oh, it'd be a trip.
So here we are. The sun is shining still. So quite warm because I've got all this equipment on my lap, and Hamish doesn't necessarily believe in air conditioning.
I do believe it. I have it on.
He's wearing a shawl right now and an Afghan because he's freezing.
That's right. It's a Pashmina Afghan.
Where's poor, chubby Grizzly Joe Grasso? He's sweating his balls off.
That's right. He was wearing nothing but a tank top.
Oh, my God.
And that
is it.
Just a tank top and all this recording equipment.
No, I'm wearing my fancy Under Armour compression underwear.
Oh, did you? Did you get them?
Oh, yeah, I got them, buddy.
Good for you.
They're great.
Good for you.
Perfect for wrestling.
I told you to get the Hanes one. You get a half price.
Fuck that.
Oh, well.
I went top of the line, buddy.
Nice. Glad we decided to start working blue again late in the podcast.
Yeah, I waited this long, so if you've been listening with your kids and waiting,
That's right.
Little Caesars has stuffed crust now? Holy crap, that looks good.
Still out here.
$10?
I know, right?
Well, first off, there's Little Caesars everywhere.
Oh, really?
I don't know where you've been.
I eat at home
like
a
$5
lot.
large pizzas you can get everywhere.
Yeah,
they've gone way down, so I understand. And you're not a fatty like me, so you don't know exactly where they all are.
And you're not a fatty. You've lost quite a lot of weight,
No,
Joe.
it's not the weight. It's the state of mind.
Right, yeah.
I have a fatty state of mind, and I love that, and I will never lose that.
Let's pass by Hank's Medical Building.
Hank's Medical Building. Diabetic and Family Foot Care.
Wow.
Doesn't that say it all, folks?
Dr. Brian Downing,
as we go into this dank underpass of a bridge. You may hear this might be the last you hear of us.
That's right. If somebody finds us, it'd be like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
I'm so scared right now. Hashtag truth bomb. I am kind of nervous walking in here.
A little bit. It's getting grimier and grimier for the grimy
Well,
Scots.
no, I'm not worried about the griminess.
No, it's actually a very nice neighborhood still.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about the griminess. I'm worried
Hell, I grew
about,
up in Dundalk, Maryland. This is nothing.
I'm like...
Woodman of the World, Lodge 6.
Are we going to walk...
Is that like the Elk Lodge? Woodman of the World? I like that.
We're going to walk...
We got cut off there. Robbie Page tried to call me. So whatever you said 5 for 5 seconds there was not picked up.
That's all right.
Yeah, whatever. We should probably end this off. We are almost there at the Elite Professional Wrestling Training Center in beautiful Cumberland, Maryland. So, this is Grizzly Joe Grasso.
And I'm hashtag Hamish Stewart.
Keep the faith, brothers. We'll see you down the road and in the ring. Hello and welcome to a special extension of the Road to Wrestling School. I'm sorry, fans, we are not technically on the road. We are, in fact, in the cavernous lair of Elite Professional Wrestling Training Center with Wildman Robbie Page and his top student, TJay. Hamish, why you got to ask these fellas?
Wow. Thanks, Joe. Great. Yeah, so, TJay, you're the top student with Robbie Page. How did that happen? How'd you get into this? How did you even meet with Robbie, and where'd your journey start?
Well, my journey started about 6 years ago, actually. I didn't meet Robbie Page in the beginning of my career. It was actually about 3-4 years in. I met him at a show that we were both on. We got to talking a little bit. I told him I wanted to advance my career. I wanted to get better. And who better than Wildman Robbie Page? I know he's now looking at me like you're just condescending so much. But I trained with him for a couple years and taught me everything that he knows. And this man is one of the most knowledgeable people in this sport that I can think of. So who better to learn from him?
Excellently said. Now, Wildman and TJay, we went through some intense training tonight. I got to tell you, that's the most intense training I've been through.
It was so intense that I had to sit down the whole...
And now, I had 2 children, and this is more intense. This is ridiculous. But I'd still rather be here than dealing with them. I love you kids. I swear I love you. I know you listen to this. I love you. I promise. But Wildman, what's your methodology here? I mean, we went through some intense warm-ups, spot after spot after spot. How do you feel that helped us?
Well, as we're doing the spots and stuff, we're stopping. We're explaining why you're doing it, how to do it properly, and we're making sure that you do the moves crisp. You're not your timing's right. You're not misplacing yourself in the ring on your bumps. You're not crowding each other when you're trying to do your moves. It's all about repetitive training and soaking that in, retaining it, and then you do it 5 or 6 times, and that 6th time you get it, and then you retain that, and then the next time you do it, you'll do it right the first time. The more you do it, the easier it is to retain it and do it right the next time.
I'll tell you what soaked in, brother, my shirt, because I have never sweat as much as I did tonight, I don't think.
So what I saw a lot of, too, was, out of blurry eyes and sweat all over my face, there were a lot of people taking notes on the outside of the ring. Robbie, you mentioned that in an interview that we did with you. But, TJay, can you talk about, kind of the notebook process and what that does for you and how that helps you?
Like me, when I take notes, it's almost like I'm writing down every single word that he says. And I read it multiple times, just like to get the understanding, and like I nitpick at things here and there to just to help myself, because I know everyone's in this, everyone wants to get better. So what better way to do that than to take the notes, studies, work hard at it. I mean, that's what you have to do if you want to boost your career, of course.
And that goes back to what I was saying in the last interview about, you write down the stuff you learn, you study it, and you break it down. And that's how you get yourself your move set, what you want to use, and you always have that to go back to. Like if you feel like you're getting lost, well, let me flip in that notebook and refresh my memory. If you have that notebook, you don't have to, go back to the same 2 or 3 things all the time. You have multiple things to break out of the bag,
So, TJay, Robbie's given us a lot of great stuff in our interviews that we've done. What's the biggest thing that you've learned from Robbie? If you were to, if some newbies, some greenhorns who walk in, what's the number one thing that you would say to them that that either you've learned or you've retained from your own travels, your own training, or what you've learned from Robbie's the biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway I would probably have to say is he taught me a big art when it came to selling. Selling is probably one of the biggest, most important things to do in a match, and like without it, I mean, what do you really have? I mean, you have two guys in the ring punching each other, and like no one's really selling, and no one's showing that it's affecting them at all. I mean, how are people going to like stick to you? How are they going to react? Like, so selling is probably the biggest thing with me.
Cool. So I'm always interested in this, in people's journeys and everything. On your journey, and I asked Robbie this as well, what is if you could take back one thing, and you're kind of 6 years in, you've got 6 years of things that you've done. If there's one thing you could go, man, I really wish I'd learned that faster, or God, I wish I knew that. God, I wish I would have learned that now, or like, wait when I started. Or would I could retain that now? What would that be?
You guys didn't hear that, but I'm not going to repeat it, Robbie.
That's right. Yeah, you got a little call in the ring there.
Something I wish I knew then. Take my time. I was really like fast-paced, like rushing, like in the very beginning, and there was really no one there to tell me like slow it down, find your pace, and go from there. Like nowadays, I realize looking back on it that should have been a really key thing when I first started out, because I was everywhere, every which way, like, and it wasn't really reacting with people that well, like. So taking my time, selling, two of the biggest things. What's your
favorite thing to work, face or heel?
Ooh, heel.
Why?
It's so much fun. So much fun. Like, face is fun. Face can be fun, but it gets a little old after a while. Heel, you just have so much more to work with, so much more to put out into a character, and like heel it's just like a release to me. Because I actually just turned heel in a couple of my companies that I work for.
Nice.
And it's just amazing. Like, I've been kind of a career face for the past 6 years, and just 6 years of all that tension and just built up over just like slapping hands with fans. It's over now. It's done. Just in one shot, it's all over.
So for the 4 fans that listen, and my mom, we're gonna put a picture of you, TJay, up there, so they can see this sort of very white meat baby face, this great face that you have that you look so baby face.
And right beside that picture, you have to put the picture that turned him heel when he was super kicked the kid out of a wheelchair.
Oh, you're the guy who super kicked him out of the wheelchair? Oh, that's the best. Oh my God,
So I'm guessing you know about that.
I just heard about that.
It is now 52K. Oh my God. 52,000 people.
Oh my God, we're gonna link to that.
Yeah, we got to. I forgot that was you. Mike Dills is an old friend of mine. The announcer there. Yeah, and he's been talking smack about you.
Mikey D.
Little Mikey D.
I love Mikey.
He's enthusiastic. I will always give him that. You're awful. I'll tell you right now, you're awful. You're a terrible person.
I was waiting for that.
All respect, but you're awful.
I am a terrible, grimy human being.
We're going to delete this podcast and burn it so no one can know your story. That's just so you know.
The kid's okay. He's alive in a neck brace somewhere. We have really no idea. We haven't heard from him.
My brain is fried. My brain is fried, and Hamus may have already asked you this. Why study professional wrestling? I ask this of every wrestler I meet, because we all have our own answer. Why the hell would we do this to our bodies? Why would we put ourselves through all this pain and torment for, let's be frank, a little money, a little recognition, maybe a slice of pizza?
Podcast money is coming in big. All right.
Hey, start a podcast, brother.
Because we all want the spotlight to be on us. We're a little, gonna say self-centered a little bit. You have to be in this sport just a little bit. I mean, if you're in there not to have like all the spotlight and everybody looking at you, I mean, there's no point of really doing this. Like, we all have to be just a little bit selfish, a little bit self-centered to do this. And I know the biggest thing is putting our bodies through all this, but in the end, if you're that type of person, hey, it's what you love to do.
We all like a little pain.
Have you always wanted to pro wrestle? I mean, is it something that just calls to you?
Yes.
What was the match or what was the thing that made you go, I want to do this?
Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, barbershop window.
Oh! And that's why I super kicked that kid through the window.
Oh my God! It was. I remember the exact moment. There's not a lot that I remember from my childhood, but my cousin turned on the television one time, and I was like 3 years old, something like that, and that was the first thing. They hugged it out. Next thing I know, he's through a window, and I'm just like, I want to do that.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels super kicked the crap out of Marty Jannetty in that. It looks like the stiffest kick.
I'm pretty sure you can probably guess who my favorite wrestler is. So
nice. Brutus the Barber, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I was going for Junkyard Dog, but that works too.
Nice, nice. So we ask a lot of people this: if you could wrestle, who would be the person you would want to work against? It could be indie, could be pro, could be you can give us a top 5, you can give us a top or however many you want. You can go 1, 2, it doesn't matter.
I'll give top 5 to 10. Top 1 though, of course, Shawn Michaels.
There you go.
Number 1. Like that man can work with a broomstick and make it look amazing. I probably could say after that, Adam Cole.
There you go.
Ring of Honor's Adam Cole, Jay Lethal, Roderick Strong, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch real quick. Shawn Michaels, then Shinsuke Nakamura as number 2. There's so many.
Sounds to me like you're choosing a lot of guys who have that ability, and I'll toot Robbie Page's horn here to take that match to go, okay, so we're at 1 speed, bam, now we've gone to another speed, now we're slowing it back down, and bam, we're up to we're now up to the 5th gear immediately.
Yep.
Is that something that draws to you? Do you like that?
It's that. The charisma is something that I cling to, and the guys that I just mentioned, like they have so much charisma. I have no choice but to be like, I want to be like them, or I want to work them. Like that's what draws me, and that's how I base my own character off. Like, charisma is above all else, like so much, something that's really magnetic. How's that?
Right, yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, all right. So you got those guys. You got that thing. If you could work, any federation, where would it be?
The obvious answer would be WWE.
Right.
That's where the money is.
Right. Yeah.
But
I'll extend this. We'll go a little fantasy here. Any federation, existing or not. Whoa.
NWA.
Yeah.
Old school NWA.
WWF? I thought so.
That works.
Fight Bruno? That'd be great.
Mid-South.
Oh,
there you go.
For me, it'd be Smoky Mountain.
Ooh, all right.
There we go.
Nothing but great things about them. I think it was the Cornettes. Every interview I hear from the old wrestlers, they go, Smoky Mountain in Mid-South. Oh, I'm so sad. Doesn't it make you sad? I mean, this is a depressing moment, and I hate to end the podcast on this.
We're not going to end it on that.
In the old days, you hear these interviews, you could wrestle every night of the week. And this was a fallback career for people. Yeah. It was like, I ended up a wrestler. You can't do that anymore. You have to earn it. You have to work for it to hopefully wrestle once a week. If you're lucky, you get once, maybe twice a week.
Right.
For the weekend, maybe 3. But we lost that, hey, I'm going to be a journeyman wrestler and wrestle every single night to hone my craft. That makes me sad, that's all.
Because the territories don't exist anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great loss, I think. I think hopefully they're coming back. We got the indies, and hopefully,
We also didn't mention AWA, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I've got 2 things to end on. One, in training with Robbie Page, so we went through this for the people who are listening.
Oh, we're still talking about Robbie.
I know, right? Yeah. Oh no, super intense, very technical, very spot focused, very it was great. I mean, there's a lot. I can't speak more highly of it. As you've progressed through this training, how is that ramped up? So like we've come in and Robbie's been he's assessed our level of ability, and he's seen us work a few other times at other places where we're training. But you've come all the way through this. You've come through with Robbie. You've made it boom. You're a top student. You're the prize example. What have you noticed? What has the whole journey been like?
A dream. Of course, in this whole thing, there's going to be bumps in the road here and there, but, like, if I didn't love it as much as I do, I wouldn't be here. Like, so honestly, looking at all the bumps in the road and, like, the journey that I've come on, it's a story to tell. So, like, and looking at the end of my career, all I want to be able to say is that I have stories. And that's pretty much what we take away, like, when we retire, when we're done.
Super cool. Super cool. One last question, because Joe's going to murder me. I know. All right. So it's obligatory. You have to ask people, if somebody wants to book you, how do they book you?
You can find me on Facebook as Prince of Pop Style TJ Sykes on my like page. You can also contact me at tjsykespro@gmail.com for bookings.
Sweet.
Let's extend that to Robbie Page, because we foolishly never did that when we interviewed him twice.
Yes, we did. You can reach him via carrier pigeon or smoke signals.
You can hit me up on Facebook under Robert Page, or you can shoot me an email at wildmanpage160@aol.com.
He never checks that.
But he still pays for it every month, like a fool. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen. It's been a lovely evening of sweating. Let's not do this for a while. Good God, my body needs to heal. Hey, keep the faith, brothers.
Tomorrow, right?
Hopefully. We'll see you down the road and in the ring.
That ending sounds good. I like that.